The humans marched deeper into the alien city, their boots striking the polished stone roads. Glowing lanterns floated above their heads, swaying gently as if moved by invisible hands. Alien children ran alongside, laughing and tossing bright petals that sparkled like stars. The streets were alive with celebration, but the humans' minds were far from calm. Inside their ranks, the soldiers whispered nervously. Private Daniels leaned close to his friend, muttering, "Did that really just happen back there? Did they seriously lift their dresses to greet us?" His friend coughed, trying not to laugh. "If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I'd say you were lying," another soldier hissed. "Quiet. Don't let the commander hear you." Commander Hayes walked at the front, his face cold and unreadable. But inside, his thoughts were storming. He had trained his men for battle, for diplomacy, for survival in the unknown, but nothing in his manuals or lessons had ever prepared him for that custom. He knew his soldiers were unsettled, and he feared that their reactions might insult the Veyari if they weren't careful. Beside him walked Lieutenant Marlowe, his second in command. Her jaw was tight, her eyes scanning every alien face in the crowd. She leaned close to Hayes and whispered, "With respect, sir. Our men can't handle much more of this. They're confused and on edge. One wrong word and this whole city could turn against us." Hayes gave a slow nod. "I know, Lieutenant. Keep them steady. Remind them they are soldiers of Earth." Alien leader, dressed in her shimmering emerald gown, walked ahead with a calm smile. To her and her people, the humans seemed too stiff, too serious. The Veyari cheered, believing the ritual had been accepted. But Hayes knew better. He could feel the tension bubbling inside his men like boiling water. At last, they reached a wide plaza, its surface glowing with patterns of light carved into the stone. The humans were led to stand at the center while thousands of aliens circled around, watching. Drums began to pound again, slow and deep. The alien leader lifted her hands, and silence fell over the crowd. She spoke in her melodic voice, and the translator device echoed her words. "Humans, you are now part of our family. Tonight we share food, music, and truth." The soldiers shifted, uneasy. They could handle food and music, but truth made their stomachs twist. What truth did these aliens expect? The alien women stepped forward again, forming a line. Their jeweled gowns shimmered under the strange lights. One by one, they lowered their dresses just slightly. Bowing in their ritual of honesty, the crowd cheered again. But this time the humans could not hide their reactions. Private Daniels turned bright red and looked away. Sergeant Cole clenched his fists, muttering, "This is insane," others whispered nervously, trying to laugh it off but failing. A few soldiers even covered their eyes, unsure if watching was respectful or offensive. The alien women noticed the humans' strange behavior, tilting their heads curiously. To the Veyari, this was an act of pride. To the humans, it was a test of discipline. Every second felt heavier, as if the air itself was pressing down on them. The commander stepped forward, his face calm, though inside his chest his heart pounded. He raised his hand to silence his men before they embarrassed themselves further. Then he bowed deeply toward the aliens, placing his hand over his chest. He did not copy their custom, but he showed sincerity. The aliens clapped and cheered louder, satisfied with his respect. But Hayes saw the looks on his soldiers' faces. They were confused, frustrated, and some were even angry. He knew he had to speak to them before their discipline broke. When the ceremony ended, the humans were guided toward a hall where food and drink awaited. As they walked, Hayes slowed his pace and called quietly to his men, "Listen carefully. All of you, what we saw today was their way of trust. It is not for us to laugh at. It is not for us to judge. Do you understand?" The soldiers gave reluctant nods, though some still looked uneasy. Private Daniels whispered under his breath, "Sir, with all due respect, that's the strangest thing I've ever seen." Hayes shot him a sharp look, and the young man fell. Silent, Lieutenant Marlowe walked closer, whispering, "They're holding it together for now. "But this is pushing them to the edge," Hayes muttered back. "Then we'll keep them busy. The more they focus on duty, the less they'll think about what unsettles them." The hall doors opened, revealing long tables filled with food glowing softly under alien light. The Veyari invited them to sit, their smiles warm and welcoming. The humans sat stiffly, unsure how to eat alien food, unsure if it was even safe. But the aliens began eating happily, urging their guests to join. The soldiers hesitated, then slowly reached for the strange glowing fruit. When the first bite was taken, nothing bad happened. In fact, the taste was sweet, refreshing, almost addictive. Laughter broke the tension for a brief moment as the men realized the food was safe, but the earlier ritual still haunted their minds. Hayes sat at the head of the table, watching his men carefully. He knew this was only the beginning. If the Veyari's greeting custom was this bizarre, what other traditions would the humans have to endure? And could his men handle it without breaking discipline? The night grew louder with music and laughter, but Hayes's mind stayed sharp. He felt the weight of responsibility pressing on him. The aliens trusted them now, but one wrong reaction, one laugh at the wrong moment, could turn trust into hostility. And deep down, he wondered if the aliens were testing them deliberately, watching to see if the humans were truly worthy of friendship. The air on the alien platform was heavy with tension. The humans stood frozen, trying to understand what they were seeing. The female aliens stood proudly, their dresses lifted in a ritual gesture that was both graceful and shocking to human eyes. To the Veyari, this was not shame but pride, a sign that they hid nothing from their guests. To the humans, it was a bizarre display, something no one had prepared them for. Commander Hayes clenched his jaw, his mind racing. He knew that one wrong move could ruin everything. Behind him, the soldiers shuffled nervously, some whispering under their breath. One young private nearly choked on a laugh. Earning a sharp glare from his officer, the alien leader stepped forward, her movements slow and calm, her smile bright like sunlight through crystal. She raised her hands, her voice rising in a melodic tone. Her language was smooth and musical, almost like a song. The translator device worked hard to keep up. "Honored guests, we show what is hidden. We offer our truth. We welcome you as family." The words echoed in every human's ear. Some blinked in disbelief. Others looked away, unsure where to rest their eyes. The alien women moved in perfect rhythm, lowering their dresses again, but keeping their eyes locked on the humans. They did not act embarrassed. Instead, they laughed softly, their long ears twitching, their jeweled crowns catching the sunlight. To them, this moment was sacred, a bridge between their people and the strangers from the stars. Hayes felt sweat bead on his neck. He had studied alien customs, but nothing like this had ever been recorded. How could he explain to Earth that the Veyari welcomed humans by lifting their dresses? The thought almost made him smile, but he forced his face to remain hard and professional. He needed to guide his soldiers, to keep them steady. He gave a small nod, a signal for them to stay calm and silent. The Veyari crowd cheered again, their voices rising like thunder. Children clapped their hands. Elders raised glowing lanterns. It was clear that the entire city believed this ritual was an honor. The humans were not just visitors, they were being accepted, but accepted on alien terms the humans barely understood. A translator officer leaned close to Hayes, whispering nervously, "Commander, they believe this is the highest form of greeting. It means they trust us. It means we are family now." Hayes did not answer right away, his eyes still locked on the alien leader. He finally muttered, "Then we must answer with respect, even if we do not understand." The alien leader raised her hands again, and the music shifted. Drums echoed, soft and deep. A line of alien women approached with gifts, golden bowls filled with glowing fruit, necklaces carved from shining crystals, bracelets of woven silver thread. They placed the gifts at the humans' feet. Bowing with pride, the humans hesitated, unsure if they should touch them. Hayes bent down, picked up one of the necklaces, and placed it gently around his wrist. The alien crowd cheered louder than before. It was the right move, the first step to showing respect. The alien leader spoke again, her voice filled with joy. The translator repeated the words in a clear tone. "Now you have seen us without secrets. Now you must show us your truth." The humans froze, unsure of what was being asked. Did she expect them to copy the ritual? The soldiers stiffened, some looking horrified, others trying not to panic. Hayes raised his hand, signaling them to stay calm. He stepped forward, his boots echoing on the stone platform. The alien women watched him closely, their eyes glowing. Faintly, Hayes placed his hand over his heart and bowed low. Then he removed his ceremonial coat, laying it on the ground as a gesture of honesty. The alien leader tilted her head, her smile widening. She understood he was showing respect in a human way. The crowd erupted in applause. The tension that had been building began to melt away. The alien leader nodded and placed a golden circlet on Hayes's head. It shimmered with light, marking him as an honored guest. The female aliens stepped back gracefully, their ritual complete, but the humans still felt uneasy, the strangeness of the custom heavy in their minds. As the celebration continued, alien music filled the air again. The humans were led toward the great city gates, tall and carved with glowing runes. The streets beyond shone with lanterns and banners. The aliens cheered as the humans entered, throwing flowers of glowing petals at their feet. The bizarre ritual was over, but its meaning remained strong. The humans had been welcomed in the strangest way possible, and Hayes knew that this was only the beginning. If this was the greeting, what other customs would they discover? What other secrets did this alien world hold? His soldiers walked behind him, still whispering, still red-faced. Some were embarrassed, some were amused, but all of them were unsettled. Hayes's eyes stayed sharp, scanning the city. Something told him that this tradition, this ritual, was not just about peace. It was a test, a challenge, and the real reason behind it was still hidden. The human ship entered the alien atmosphere slowly, its engines humming like a beast holding back its roar. The crew inside the ship pressed their faces against the viewing glass, watching as the alien city below glowed with strange lights. The sky was painted with colors no human had ever seen before, shades of green and silver that danced like fire across the horizon. It was beautiful, but it was also frightening. Commander Hayes stood in the center of the deck, his hands behind his back, his eyes sharp as he looked at the alien world. This was humanity's first official meeting with the alien race called the Vayari, a people that humans had only spoken with through distant signals. Now, after months of planning, they were here in person, and no one knew what to expect. The commander's voice was calm, but inside his chest his heart beat like a drum. "Prepare for landing," he ordered. The ship's hull shook gently as it touched the alien landing platform. The humans could see thousands of Vayari gathered below, waiting, their tall blue forms shimmering in the sunlight. They stood in neat lines, wearing clothes that looked both royal and alien, flowing gowns, shining armors, crowns of gold and crystal. The humans whispered among themselves, nervous but amazed. Some said it looked like a festival. Others said it felt like walking into a trap. When the doors opened, warm alien air rushed into the ship, smelling of flowers and spice. The humans marched out in perfect formation, their boots clicking on the smooth stone platform. Alien music filled the air, soft but powerful, played by strange instruments that looked alive. The Vayari smiled and waved, their voices rising in a chorus that echoed across the valley. "Commander." Hayes lifted his chin and kept walking, his soldiers behind him. He knew every eye was watching. Every sound was being recorded. This was history, but it was also danger. One mistake could lead to war. At the center of the platform stood the alien leaders, tall women with glowing skin and long braided hair that shimmered like silver rivers. They looked at the humans with wide, curious eyes, their smiles calm and graceful. One of them stepped forward, her gown flowing like liquid emerald, She raised her hands to the sky, and the music stopped. Every alien bowed, and the humans froze. Unsure what to do, the commander nodded to his soldiers, and they gave a slow bow. Copying the movement as best as they could, the alien leader's eyes sparkled, as if pleased. But then she gave a signal, and something unexpected began. The female aliens walked forward, moving in elegant lines. Each of them wore long dresses of green, blue, and gold, decorated with jewels that shimmered in the light. They smiled warmly at the humans, their sharp ears twitching slightly as they stepped closer. The humans tensed, their hands near their weapons, but the commander gave a sharp shake of his head, warning them not to act. The aliens stopped only a few feet away, their eyes locked on the human guests. The music began again, but this time softer, slower, almost mysterious. The female aliens touched the fabric of their dresses, holding them delicately as if ready for something. The humans exchanged nervous glances, confusion spreading among the ranks. One young soldier whispered, "What are they doing?" Another muttered, "This doesn't look like any welcome I know." Commander Hayes said nothing, but his jaw tightened, his instincts telling him something unusual was about to happen. The alien leader raised her voice, speaking in her own language, a sound like singing. The translator device on Hayes's arm beeped and tried to keep up. The words came out broken, but clear enough. "Welcome, human friends. We honor you. We reveal truth. No secrets, only trust." The humans stiffened, the words "we reveal" hanging in the air like a storm. The aliens began to slowly pull their dresses aside, not in shame, not in weakness, but with proud smiles. It was their custom, their ritual, their way of showing. They had nothing hidden. The human soldiers gasped, some turning red, others struggling not to laugh. To the humans it was bizarre, shocking, almost unbelievable, but to the aliens it was the highest form of greeting. The crowd of Viari clapped and cheered, their voices echoing across the city. To them, this act was sacred, an offering of peace. But the humans felt the heavy weight of misunderstanding. One wrong reaction could destroy the fragile trust between the two species. Commander Hayes's eyes narrowed, his mind racing. He had trained for war, for politics, for diplomacy, but not for this. He took a deep breath, trying to hold his soldiers steady. He knew that this strange arrival, this bizarre custom, was only the beginning, and deep inside, he feared that the real test had just begun.